This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Max and Mia podcast. I'm Max, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mia.
Hey there, great to see you all again. How's it going?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. You know, I was thinking about something this morning. How often do we actually use certain expressions without even realizing how useful they are?
Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. Every single day we throw around phrases, phrasal verbs, little expressions, and honestly, a lot of learners struggle with these things. They memorize grammar rules perfectly, but when it comes to casual conversation, they get stuck.
That's such a valid idea. I totally agree with you. Just last week, someone asked me what hang out meant in everyday context, and I realized how many of these expressions are really essential but often ignored.
Exactly. That's precisely why we're tackling this today. We've put together a collection of 30 incredibly practical words, expressions, and phrasal verbs that'll actually make a difference in your daily English.
And honestly, once you master these, your conversations will feel so much more natural and confident.
Right on. We're covering everything, from everyday expressions to workplace vocabulary, emotional reactions, conversational phrases, and of course, some solid phrasal verbs that native speakers use constantly.
I'm genuinely excited about this episode. Some of these might surprise you, and others will probably make you go, "Oh, I use that all the time."
Brilliant. So whether you're B1 or B2, this episode is going to be incredibly valuable for you. Ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
All right. Let's jump into our first category, everyday expressions. These are phrases you'll hear literally everywhere, in conversations with friends, at the store, basically anywhere English speakers gather.
Yes. And I think what makes these so powerful is that they're super casual and authentic. You won't find them in textbooks, but you absolutely need them in real life.
Couldn't have said it better. So our very first expression is I screwed up.
Oh, that's a good one to start with. So basically, this means you made a mistake or did something wrong. It's definitely informal, by the way. You wouldn't say this to your boss in a formal meeting. Well, maybe if you were close with them, but generally it's friend-to-friend talk.
Exactly. And the beauty of this phrase is how universal it is. Everyone messes up at some point. Let me give you an example so this is clear. Imagine you promised to meet your friend at 3 p.m., but you completely forgot and showed up at 4 p.m. When you arrive, you'd probably say something like, "Ugh, I screwed up. I totally lost track of time."
Great example. You can really feel the frustration in that scenario. And notice how it's self-directed. You're admitting your own mistake.
Right. It's not blaming anyone else. You own it. Moving on to our second expression, it's up to you.
This one's brilliant because you hear it constantly. Basically, it means the decision is yours to make. No one else is going to decide for you. You have the freedom or responsibility to choose.
And it's pretty neutral in tone, right? Not formal, not super casual. You can use it with anyone.
Absolutely. Here's a practical example. You and your colleagues are trying to pick where to eat lunch. Someone says, "I'm fine with wherever we go." And then you respond, "Okay, so it's up to you guys to pick the place then." You're basically putting the ball in their court.
I like that. Okay, next up, I'm not buying it.
Oh, this is fun. So this doesn't literally mean you're refusing to purchase something. It means you don't believe what someone is saying. You're skeptical.
Exactly. And it's quite informal too. You'd say this to friends or people you're comfortable with. Let me set up an example. Your friend tells you they didn't eat the last slice of pizza, but you saw them do it 5 minutes ago. You'd probably laugh and say, "Come on, I'm not buying it. I literally saw you."
Yes, that's so relatable. The tone really matters here too. You can say it playfully or seriously, depending on the situation.
Great point. Now let's look at this one. "You've got to be kidding me."
This is an expression of disbelief, but it's usually stronger than the last one. It expresses surprise or shock, like you think what someone just said is absolutely ridiculous or impossible.
So it's more of a reaction than just doubting someone?
Exactly. It's like a gut reaction. If someone told you they were moving to the moon next month, you'd probably say, "You've got to be kidding me." It's showing that you think what they're saying is completely far-fetched or unbelievable.
Let me throw in an example to make this crystal clear. Picture this. You're at work and your colleague says the meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow is actually canceled, but you just spent 2 hours preparing materials for it. You might react with, "You've got to be kidding me. Why didn't anyone tell me earlier?"
Great. That frustration and surprise is exactly what the phrase captures. Moving right along to number 5, it rings a bell.
Ooh, I like this one. It's quite poetic when you think about it. Basically, it means something sounds familiar or that you vaguely remember something.
Right. You're not saying you definitely remember it completely, just that it sounds like you've heard or seen it before. There's something familiar about it.
So if I said, "Have you ever been to that Italian restaurant on the 5th Street?" And you said, "It rings a bell, but I can't quite remember it," what would that mean?
That means you've probably been there or heard about it before, but your memory isn't crystal clear about it. It's triggering something in your brain, but you can't fully grab onto it.
Brilliant. Here's a concrete example. Your friend mentions a movie called The Secret Garden, and even though you haven't watched it, you say, "Yeah, that title rings a bell. I think my sister mentioned it once."
Love that. You're not claiming full knowledge, just that familiarity is there somewhere. Next one, don't take it personally.
This is such an important phrase in communication. Essentially, someone's telling you not to feel hurt or offended by something they said or did. They're asking you to separate the comment from your own identity.
It's often used when you've just said something critical or blunt, and you want to soften the impact a bit. You're essentially saying, this isn't about you as a person, it's about the situation.
Let's make this tangible with an example. Imagine your manager reviews your project and says, "The writing in this report is a bit unclear." You might feel defensive, but they could follow up with, "Don't take it personally. It's just about the technical documentation. Your work ethic is fantastic."
That really helps put it in perspective. They're creating distance between criticism and your value as a person. And finally, well, not finally because we've got way more to cover, but our last one in this batch is, "I'll take your word for it."
This is a good one. It means you're going to trust what someone is telling you, even though you might not have direct proof or experience yourself.
Exactly. It's showing trust and acceptance. You're basically saying, "I believe you. I'm going to trust your judgment on this."
And it can be used genuinely, or sometimes even with a hint of sarcasm, depending on the tone of voice. Here's an example to clarify. Your friend insists that a new coffee shop has the best cappuccino in the city. You haven't tried it yourself yet, so you say, "I'll take your word for it. Let's go check it out sometime."
That's straightforward and genuine. But you could also say it sarcastically if your friend has, well, questionable taste in things. Either way, the phrase stays the same.
Perfect. So, there we have it. 7 everyday expressions that are absolutely essential for natural English conversation.
These are the backbone of casual chat, honestly. Once you can use these naturally, you'll sound so much more like a real English speaker.
All right, moving into our second category now. Phrasal verbs. These little combinations can be tricky, but they're absolutely everywhere in English.
And honestly, they're what separates textbook English from real, everyday English. Native speakers use them constantly without even thinking about it.
So true. Let's kick things off with our first phrasal verb, to run into someone.
Ooh, good choice. So this doesn't mean to physically collide with someone in a violent way. It means to encounter someone unexpectedly or by chance. It's a casual meeting you weren't planning.
Right, so you just bump into them by accident, figuratively speaking. Here's a scenario to make it clear. You're walking through the supermarket on a Tuesday afternoon, and suddenly you see your old high school friend at the checkout. You weren't expecting to see them there. You could say later, "Guess who I ran into at the grocery store today?"
Great! That's exactly how you'd use it. And it's very informal, so you'd use it with friends and family. You wouldn't necessarily say this in a formal business presentation, but in everyday conversation, all the time.
Now let's look at our second phrasal verb in this section, to come across as.
This one's really interesting because it's about perception and how people perceive you. Basically, it means the impression you give to others, how you seem or appear to them.
So it's not about what you actually are, but how you're being perceived.
Bingo. It's about the image you're projecting, whether intentionally or not. Let me set up an example. Imagine you're in a job interview and you're really nervous, so you speak very quietly and don't make much eye contact. The interviewer might think you come across as shy or lacking confidence, even though you might be incredibly confident normally.
Oh, that's a solid example. So the phrase captures that gap between reality and perception. Let me throw in another angle to this. A friend of yours is always joking and making sarcastic comments. Someone who doesn't know them well might come across them as rude or mean, but their actual friends know they're just being funny.
Exactly. And here's the thing. You can use it positively too. Like, she comes across as very professional and trustworthy. It doesn't have to be negative.
Great point. So, come across as is really about that first impression or the vibe someone gets from you. These two phrasal verbs are foundational stuff, honestly.
They really are. And the cool thing is, once you understand the pattern, you can start spotting other phrasal verbs and making educated guesses about what they mean.
Love that mindset. We've still got a bunch more to tackle, so now we're jumping into our third category, conversational expressions and proverbs. The kind of phrases that have stood the test of time because they're genuinely useful.
Absolutely. A lot of these have wisdom behind them, or they're just clever ways to navigate conversations smoothly. They make you sound really natural.
Let's begin with our first one. Better safe than sorry.
This is a classic. It's essentially saying that it's wiser to take precautions now rather than risk problems later. It's about being cautious and preventing potential issues.
So it's more of a principle or a piece of advice you're giving?
Exactly. It's a decision-making guideline. Like, if you're unsure about something, it's better to be careful now. Here's an example to paint the picture. You're planning a road trip next week, and your car has been making some weird noises. Your friend says, "Maybe we should get it checked before we go." You might respond, "Yeah, Better safe than sorry. Let's take it to the mechanic.
That makes total sense. You're choosing prevention over risking a breakdown in the middle of nowhere. Perfect application. Moving to our second expression, don't even go there.
Oh, this one's fantastic because it's so versatile. Basically, someone's telling you not to bring up a certain topic. It could be because it's sensitive, controversial, or just something they don't want to discuss.
So it's setting a boundary in the conversation?
Precisely. And it's got a very informal, friend-to-friend tone to it. Let me give you a clear example. You're hanging out with your roommate, and you jokingly bring up the time they spilled red wine all over the carpet. They look at you and say, "Don't even go there." We're not talking about that. They're cutting off that conversation topic immediately.
Ha! I can feel the defensiveness in that scenario. Okay, next up, for what it's worth.
This one's a bit different. It's often used when someone's about to give their opinion or advice, but they're being humble or acknowledging that their input might not be super important or relevant.
So they're downplaying what they're about to say?
Kind of, yeah. Or they're softening their statement. Like, I might not be the expert here, but here's my thought anyway. Let me set up an example. You're with your friend who's stressed about a work situation. You say, "For what it's worth, I think you handled that email really well." Your boss was just having a bad day. You're offering support, but you're also being modest about your perspective.
That's nice, actually. It's a polite way to insert your opinion without being too forceful. Shifting gears now to, you know the drill.
This is such a common phrase. It basically means the other person already knows the routine or the procedure. You don't need to explain it again because they're familiar with it.
So you're referencing something that's already understood between you two?
Yes, there's a shared understanding. Here's a straightforward example. You're heading out with your friends on a Friday night to the same bar you go to every week. You say, "All right, everyone, you know the drill. Meet at my place at 8, then we head out." Everyone knows exactly what to expect because you do it all the time.
Got it. No confusion, no need for detailed instructions. Now this one's kind of cool. That ship has sailed.
Ooh, I love the imagery of this one. Basically, it means it's too late to do something. The opportunity has passed, and you can't go back or change it anymore.
So it's final? There's no turning back?
That's the idea, yeah. Something has already happened, the moment is gone, and you've got to accept that. Let me paint this scenario. You're talking to your colleague about applying for a promotion that closed yesterday. You say, "I really wanted to go for it, but that ship has sailed." The deadline passed. You're acknowledging that the opportunity is gone.
Definitely feels conclusive. You can't board a ship that's already left the harbor. Okay, last one in this batch. Make yourself at home.
This is a welcoming phrase. It means you want someone to feel comfortable and relaxed in your space. Like they should treat your place as if it's their own.
So it's an invitation to be comfortable and not formal?
Exactly. You're telling them not to feel like a guest. Just relax and do what they need to do. Here's a practical example. Your cousin is visiting from out of town and arrives at your apartment. You open the door and say, "Make yourself at home. The kitchen's down the hall if you need anything, and feel free to grab whatever you want from the fridge." You're making them feel welcome and at ease.
That's really hospitable. You're removing the awkwardness that can sometimes come with having guests. These 6 expressions are gold for everyday conversation.
They really are. And they show cultural understanding too. Using these naturally makes you sound like someone who actually knows how English speakers communicate.
Couldn't have said it better. All right, we're making solid progress through these 30. All right, category number 4, emotional and reaction expressions. These are the ones where you really get to show how you feel about something, and they're incredibly expressive.
Yes. These phrases let you go beyond just, I like it, or I don't like it. They add so much personality and emotion to what you're saying.
Exactly. Let's dive right in with our first one. I can't stand it.
This is a strong one. It means you really dislike something intensely. It's not just mild annoyance, it's genuine frustration or disgust.
So it's more intense than just not liking something?
Definitely. It's saying that something bothers you deeply. Here's a clear scenario. Imagine you're at your friend's place, and they're playing this reality TV show that has constant drama and fake moments. You've been watching for 5 minutes and you say, "Honestly, I can't stand this show. Can we put something else on?" You're expressing real frustration.
That's a good illustration of the strength behind that phrase. Moving right along to, I'm not into that.
This one's a bit gentler, actually. It just means you're not interested in something, or it's not your thing. It's a polite way to decline or express disinterest without being harsh.
So it's more casual than I can't stand it?
Oh yeah, way more casual and friendly. Think about it this way. If someone suggests going skydiving and you're not interested, you could say, "Thanks for the invite, but I'm not into that. Heights make me nervous." You're being honest without sounding mean.
Nice distinction there. Okay, next expression, I couldn't care less.
This one's hilarious because people say it all the time, but it actually means you have zero interest or concern about something. Complete indifference, basically.
And it's quite emphatic, right?
Very. It's like saying your level of caring is at absolute zero. Let me set up a scenario. You and your colleagues are talking about what brand of coffee the office ordered. You're not fussed about brands at all. So you say, "I couldn't care less if it's expensive coffee or instant coffee. As long as it's hot, I'm fine." You're being blunt about your indifference.
That's relatable. Moving forward to, I can't get enough of it.
Oh, this is the opposite energy. This means you absolutely love something and want more of it. You're obsessed or really passionate about it.
So it's expressing enthusiasm and addiction to something in a positive way.
Exactly. It shows genuine enjoyment and desire for more. Here's an example to illustrate. Your friend just discovered this amazing Korean restaurant in your neighborhood, and after trying their food, you say, "Seriously, I can't get enough of their spicy noodles." Let's go back next weekend. You're showing real excitement and craving.
I can feel the enthusiasm in that one. All right, next one. Don't freak out.
This is more of a calming phrase. Someone's telling you not to panic or lose your composure about something. It's asking you to stay calm and collected.
So, you might say this to someone who's starting to get worried or anxious?
Precisely. You're acknowledging that they might be feeling stressed, but you're encouraging them to breathe and stay grounded. Let me give you a situation. You're taking a test at university, and you notice your classmate beside you looking really panicked about a question they can't answer. You lean over slightly and whisper, "Don't freak out. There's still plenty of time. You've got this." You're providing reassurance.
That's actually really supportive. And our final one in this set, it blew me away.
This phrase means something impressed you massively or shocked you in a positive way. It exceeded your expectations.
So it's about being genuinely impressed or astonished.
Yeah, it's when something is so good or so unexpected that it just wows you. Here's a concrete example. Your friend invites you to see their band's first live performance. You weren't sure what to expect, but they absolutely killed it on stage. After the show, you go up to them and say, "That performance absolutely blew me away. You guys were incredible." You're expressing how much they impressed you.
That's such a positive reaction. These 6 expressions really cover the emotional spectrum, don't they?
They really do. From frustration to indifference to excitement to calm reassurance. You've got tools for pretty much any emotional situation now.
And they sound so much more natural than saying I feel happy or I feel unhappy. These have actual character to them.
Totally. People use these constantly in real conversations. Mastering them will definitely level up your English game.
All right, we're on to our final category now, professional and work expressions. These are absolutely crucial if you're working in an English-speaking environment or dealing with international business.
For real. These phrases are the lifeblood of workplace communication. You'll hear them in meetings, emails, and casual conversations with colleagues all the time.
Perfect segue. Let's kick off with, let's touch base.
This one means you want to connect with someone, check in, or have a conversation to update each other on something. It's about establishing communication and staying aligned.
So it's more formal than just hanging out.
Exactly. It's professional, but still friendly. You'd use it with colleagues or clients. Here's an example. You've been working on a project with your team, and it's been a few days since everyone talked about progress. You might send an email saying, "Hey everyone, let's touch base on Friday afternoon to go over where we're at with the campaign." You're scheduling a check-in meeting.
That makes sense. It's not aggressive, it's collaborative. Moving to our next one, let's take it offline.
This is a sneaky one. It doesn't mean going offline on the internet. It means postponing a conversation to discuss it privately or later, rather than right now in front of everyone.
So, you might say this in a group meeting?
Absolutely. You could be in a team meeting and someone brings up a budget concern. You might say, "Let's take that offline and discuss it one-on-one later." You're essentially saying, "This isn't the right moment or forum for this conversation." Let me give you a clearer picture. You're in a video call with 10 people, and someone asks a detailed question that would take too long to answer right then. You could respond, "Great question. Let's take it offline and I'll send you the details by email." You're being tactful about time management.
Smart move. Keeps the meeting flowing. Next up, to be swamped.
Oh, this is relatable. It means you're overwhelmed with work or responsibilities. You're buried under tasks and don't have much breathing room.
Is it pretty informal, or can you use it in professional settings too?
You can use it in both, honestly. It's informal enough to use with colleagues casually, but professional enough for a workplace context. Here's a scenario. Your colleague asks if you can take on a new project this week. You might respond, "I'd love to, but I'm completely swamped right now with the quarterly review. Can we revisit this next week?" You're explaining your capacity realistically.
That's honest communication. Shifting gears now to, it's a no-brainer.
This expression means a decision is obvious or easy to make. There's really no need to overthink it. The answer is clear.
So you're saying the choice is straightforward?
Precisely. It's a very confident statement. Let me set up an example. You're in a business meeting discussing whether to hire a talented candidate who interviewed incredibly well and has perfect experience for the role. Someone might say, her qualifications are exceptional and she nailed the interview. It's a no-brainer. We should offer her the position. You're saying the decision is obvious because the evidence is so strong.
Love that clarity. Coming up next, to be in the loop.
This means you're informed and aware of what's happening. You have the information you need to stay current on a project or situation.
The opposite would be being left out?
Exactly. Being in the loop means you're part of the communication chain. Here's a workplace example. You're working remotely and your manager wants to make sure you stay connected to the team's progress. They might say, I'll keep you in the loop about all the updates from the office meetings so you don't miss anything. They're promising to keep you informed.
Good management right there. Now let's look at to get the ball rolling.
This phrasal verb means to start something or initiate a process. You're getting things moving and taking the first steps.
So you're taking action to begin something?
Yes, you're moving from planning to actual doing. Here's a concrete example. Your team has been discussing launching a new product for weeks, but nothing's happened yet. You finally say, okay, let's get the ball rolling. I'll schedule meetings with marketing and production this week. You're being the one to actually start the process.
That's leadership energy. Next expression, to take the lead.
Speaking of leadership, this means you're taking charge or becoming responsible for directing something. You're stepping up to guide a project or initiative.
Is it about responsibility?
Definitely. It shows initiative and ownership. Let me give you a scenario. Your team is working on a client presentation and no one's been coordinating all the pieces. You might say to your manager, I'd like to take the lead on pulling everything together and organizing the presentation. You're volunteering to be in charge.
That's really proactive. Moving along to drop someone a line.
This is a nice casual phrase. It means to send someone a message, email, or note. Quick communication, basically.
So it's like reaching out informally?
Exactly. It's friendly and low pressure. Here's an example. You're thinking about your old colleague who moved to another company. You might tell a friend, I should drop them a line and see how their new job is going. You're planning to send them a quick message.
Simple but effective. And our final one, to think outside the box.
This is a classic phrase in professional environments. It means to approach problems creatively or consider unconventional solutions. You're not sticking to traditional thinking.
So you're encouraging innovation?
Absolutely. It's about breaking away from the standard approach. Here's a workplace scenario. Your company is struggling with customer retention and the traditional methods aren't working well. In a brainstorming meeting, someone might say, we need to think outside the box here. What if we tried a completely different loyalty program approach? You're pushing for creative solutions rather than doing what everyone else does.
That's inspiring change and progress. 9 professional expressions covered. That's a solid toolkit for anyone working in an English-speaking workplace.
Seriously, these phrases show you understand workplace culture and professional communication. Using them naturally will make you stand out as someone who really knows how to navigate a professional environment.
Couldn't have said it better. And that brings us to the end of our 9 categories and 30 expressions. Wow, what a journey today. 30 expressions, 5 categories. We really covered some ground.
Seriously, I feel like we've given you such a solid foundation for real everyday English conversation. These aren't just random phrases. They're the actual backbone of how native speakers communicate.
And here's the thing. Don't expect to use all of these perfectly right away. Pick a few that resonate with you, practice them, and gradually incorporate more into your speech.
That's golden advice. Repetition and real-world usage are everything. Use them in conversations, write them in messages, think about them in context.
If you found this episode helpful, we'd absolutely love to hear from you. Drop us a message, leave a comment, share it with your study buddies. Whatever helps you spread the word about the podcast.
And hey, if there are specific topics or expressions you'd like us to cover in future episodes, let us know. We're always listening to what our audience wants.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. This was a blast.
Absolutely. Same time next week?
You know it. Until then, keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, the more you use these expressions, the more natural they'll become.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on Max and Mia Podcast.
Take care, everyone.